All right. Welcome to another edition of what are we calling this? Beacher's Vermal Cast, Podcast, Beacher's Cast. I don't know. We have not decided on a name yet. But yeah, me out here today, Martini, and I got Phillabust. And I don't know. You want to introduce yourself real quick, and I guess we'll hop right into some of the topics.
Yeah, what's up? I'm Phillabust. I'm the guest here on episode 1 of Caster Podcast, Podcaster Cast, Podcaster.
We're name is still to be decided, obviously.
Episode 1 of something.
Yeah. Technically two, I think, or was that episode 0 from the other one? I don't
Yeah, that was
know.
like preseason. This is season 1. Absolutely. Episode 1 right here.
Yeah, we're
Official.
live, and I think Nightfire's got an interview coming out, so that'll be exciting to see. I'm not sure. I think that'll be posted before this, so maybe I should not have referenced that. But who cares?
Jealous.
We'll edit things out later at some point. Yeah, I think he interviewed. Was it Eternity?
A
So
bunch of
definitely
players, I think. Yeah.
pretty solid
I'm jealous.
team.
I feel like that was my idea. I was like, I'll interview. He was like, no, I got this. Took over. That's okay.
I
Nightfire's
mean,
the
at
goat.
this point,
Taught
it's
me
still
everything I
it's
know.
free reign. Anyone can hop in, check things out.
Mm.
I think we're still figuring out the cadence of how we do this because it's still. I don't think I've really seen this sort of thing from I think other communities because I mean I've seen other communities, but they tend to just the casters tend to just do casting only, don't really do too much content
Mm.
creation stuff from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Um,
Shout outs to Nightfire, by the way. He's been kicking ass, creating all kinds of
Oh, I know. And
wholesome
on top of
content.
that, doing a lot of casts. I mean, whenever I look at the casters and I see the list, he's always at the top with some crazy number. And I'm like, I don't know how he does that. But I
Yep.
mean, he's here. He supports us a lot with Vermal. So anyways, I wanted to hop right into this. So if y'all haven't seen it's around the Armory area in the Breachers lobby, but there's an upcoming map. There's already snow map coming up, but I was curious if you had any ideas that what did you want in potentially this upcoming map? Maybe in another map altogether. You don't even want a snow map. Maybe you want, I don't know, like insert whatever idea.
Mm. No, I think snow map is huge. I hail from New Hampshire, up in the Northeast, where there's a lot of snow in the winter. I remember like big 6 feet
Yeah.
snows of blizzards coming down, and like so that's like I'll feel right at home on a snowy map. I think that's great. I actually want to have this kind of dream in my head of like, what if somehow the inside part, you know how all the maps have like a part where you got the breach inside?
Yeah.
Somehow there was snow inside where the actual combat was taking place, as opposed to just outside. It was snowy. Either way, it's gonna be sweet.
Oh,
I
I'm trying
know,
to
I
think.
love
How
it.
would that look?
It's quite. It would have to be like, I don't know, maybe some sort of like broken down. I mean, it's gonna be some sort of like. I think they showed it's gonna be some sort of like what's it called? Like a big cement building. There's not gonna be massive holes, but if it was like some broken down building, there could still be like snow inside in spots. That would be
Oh, like
cool.
certain areas? That'd be cool. I think the only concern is that that basically gives the attackers a free look in to the site. I don't know, without having to breach anything.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I think that's the
It's a
only
weird dream.
concern. I think it's hard, right? When you consider the breaching aspect when you're building these maps, like essentially you have to build it in such a way that it's still, I think, one looks pretty good, but it's breachable, right? If it was just a wide open map, there's nothing really for the attackers to breach into.
Mm.
Granted, they could use that map for maybe something that's strictly like control point. That is something to consider. That maybe they make maps that are non-bomb defusal, right? Maybe once they start going into other game modes, maybe they start building maps around that and not just bomb defusal. Because right now, I mean,
No,
if you
no,
think
no.
about it, control point's just a redo of the bomb defusal maps, which I'm not gonna lie, the control point it's kind of funky because those maps aren't built for control points, so it's just people running all over, breaching random things and throwing frags. And I like a team deathmatch style of
Mm.
map, and then we see that with Kill House. I think it works well with Kill House because it's built for that. Versus we've seen it. I mean, I played control points. Some of the spawns are really funky, and it's because those maps aren't built for that sort of style of gameplay, right? But
Yeah,
that's more different game mode altogether, right?
I think I don't know. I actually kind of disagree on a few of those points. I think
Really?
yeah, I think if you were to make a map, it would be. I mean, if you want to make it for another game mode, it would probably be specifically like a TDM map. You know, I
Yep.
I I think you could make a point for maybe. No, I don't know if control point would work on Kill House at all. I don't think it does. You know, that style map is designed for quick
Team
TDM.
deathmatch, yeah.
Yeah, like that.
But
And
I'm
I
also
think
an objective based guy, so I'd like a control point map. That would be interesting, but I really don't know how they would change it. I don't know. Bomb defusal, it's just funky, right? Because you basically are the point of building these bomb defusal maps, people are breaching inward, but that's not really control
Mm.
point at all. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, you gotta. There's a different. The maps play very differently in control point than they do uh,
Very
with
differently. Yeah.
the bomb defusal, obviously, because either both teams can go inside and outside, and both teams can rappel up and down walls and things like that. And you know, it plays very differently and dynamically. I think if anything, they could kind of tweak the map to make it work better for control play. But I think what they're doing is perfect. Building out a map pool designed around the main game mode, which is obviously bomb
Bomb defusal.
defusal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're gonna build out a bigger map pool for that. And I think control point is more like that tossed on game mode where when you need a break, when you need a change of pace, when bomb defusal has been too much, or you want to play, you're gonna learn the map spots and practice the gun skills without having to wait for your teammates to all die every round, and have more that deathmatch game mode, like you said. I think the way they're doing it is good, and the map, like I have all these dreams for the new map, but I think they've done really good with the previous maps that have come out. If I could say the one thing that I feel like would help round out the map pool a little bit with this new map is have a more long range fights.
I
There's
was
this
literally thinking the same exact thing. Like I think Marui when I think of something like a long range
exactly.
map, and I know a lot of players. I'm always in that Breachers Discord checking out people's suggestions, and one of the suggestions that comes up all the time is rebalancing the Marui to make it kind of work against the Vezin. And I think a long range map would
Mm,
be perfect for something like that because now there's definitely a very viable map that showcases, this is what the Marui's good at. Let's actually use it for that, especially with that fall off damage now
mm.
for the Vezin. I think it would make the Marui very useful. Otherwise, I mean, you got to think about it. There's the longest range is what, like either shooting into hideout from outside the map or I think
Mm.
certain spots on factory, but that's literally it. Everything is very close
Yeah,
quarters. But I think that's also
exactly.
the point of the game. It's very fast, fast paced, a lot of it's action packed. I get it, but I think
Yeah,
there
so
should be a way to have like action packed like stuff with longer ranges, right?
Yeah, so with longer, I have two takes on this, two kind of sides of it. One, I think it'd be great to have longer range fights on the new map where there's more open spaces, because that would kind of add a different dynamic. People who have that more stable aim, that have that more precision at long range stuff, would definitely be able to excel on a different map, and we see different play styles have more opportunity. On the other hand, as far as balancing the Marui versus the Vezin, yes, a longer range map would have more people favor guns like the Marui. Would see more Cadillo, I guess, be possible as well.
Oh, you're
Um,
right. That like this kind of
Both
a
of those
sniper. Yeah,
exactly, yeah. One shots at any range guns are going to excel on a map that has more long range fights. But no matter what setup it is, even if it's longer range, I feel like it's still going to be fairly close quarters combat inside of the building due to the nature of the
oh
game.
yeah.
So I want to go back to the to talking about dialing in the Marui. I actually think the Marui is in a great place. It doesn't actually need any buffing to match the Vezin. What I think they need to do is actually tweak the nerfs they made to the Vezin. I really like the way that they nerf the Vezin, and because what a lot of game developers, a mistake I see some make is they'll nerf something that's considered overpowered. They'll nerf it into the ground so hard that it's nobody wants to use it at all
Yeah,
anymore,
yeah.
and that's too big of a shift. And they're kind of doing it gently, but I think it was the tweak was slightly off. Instead of nerfing the fall off damage that happens after the range, what I think they should do is pull back the range that the fall off starts, because 15 meters is pretty far. Like 15 meters, most fights in breachers, like we're talking about, are very close quarters. Are happening well within that, so the damage fall off doesn't even take effect in most of the gunfights. They say 9 out of 10, for example. What I think they should do is drop that from 15 meters to 10 meters. Maybe even
10.
down.
That's aggressive. I've heard people throw around like 12, 13
Okay,
meters just to kind of tweak it a little bit, but
okay, tweak it back. Okay, you can concept that. What I would say is on
eight
top of that,
meters, 8 meters, nothing. Just
whoa, that's too much. I agree. Bringing it back that much is insane. Let's bring it like 12 meters, 12, even 12 and a half meters. Start with that and see how it feels. And maybe even reverse the fall off tweak that you made last time, right? Instead of having the damage fall off more aggressively, have it fall off gradually again, but pull it back so it starts falling off sooner.
sooner.
And those
Yeah,
things will kind of balance each other out. Because what you have is like, there's games like Counter-Strike that have been out for forever. And in those games, the CTs have the M4 and the Ts have the AK, and the M4 never one taps to that, even at close range. Uh, really close range. It just doesn't one tap to the head. You have to headshot and body shot, and yet a lot of people are still really good with that gun. So I
yeah,
think if you wanna have the two options, you wanna have the one hit kill at any range gun that's better, powerful range, slower firing, better at penetrating walls and stuff. and have the other one that shoots faster. I think you got to have it not one tap to the head. I mean, in games like Valorant, the Phantom does one tap to the head, and it's at about the same range I would say that the Vezin does, but the maps are so much bigger in Valorant. The fights are
Yeah.
so much farther that a lot of the fights happen way beyond that fall off distance. So I think you got to pull that in a little bit. I think, yeah, 5 meters is quite a bit. You're right. Bring it back from 15 to 10, that'd be a 5 meter
I,
difference.
I think 12,
But
13. To your point, try that out and see how that goes. And I think that's a good point. Like, I'm gonna be honest, that nerf that came out, I don't think I even noticed it. I'm still one tapping with the Vezin, not even thinking about distance really. And I think there's a lot of discussion around, I think, fall off damage, and that's a really good point because I've even at a distance, I have been able to still kill with the Vezin pretty well. I'm not really worried about distance kills. Not
yeah,
enough that
exactly.
I'm like trying out the Marui, and even when I do try out the Marui, I always end up going back to the Vezin because I'm like, like I don't use Marui in the way that it's intended. And I'm
Mm,
better off using the Vezin at this point, especially because I'm the fire rate for me is just it's really good recovery. Like, yeah, I might miss a
yeah,
couple, but I have a lot more rounds coming down. It's a lot easier for
exactly.
me to kill somebody versus Marui.
Exactly.
Like if all my shots counted, I probably would use a Marui. That's better for ammo conservation, that wall banging, distance, and I think because of the recoil being so straight up and down, it's a lot easier to get. I think multiple kills in a row because if you can control your recoil so
Mhm.
well, it's so easy to basically shoot, move, shoot, move, shoot, move, right?
Well, well, yeah, and at a longer distance, absolutely true. You can get more multi kills at medium to long range with the Marui. But the thing, there's actually a benefit that makes that always will make the Vezin king of close range, even if you dial in that damage, is because the spread when the spread actually moves around, it kind of gives you the pseudo shotgun effect, where if you are shooting and your crosshair just misses by a little bit, like you're just
Yeah.
off to the one side, but you get to pump 3 rounds downrange really fast, and one of them goes a little bit offside to both sides. One of those is going to catch them in the head, most likely.
That's an
And so
interesting point. I didn't really
yeah.
think about that, huh? I like
So
that.
yeah, it gives instead of just like with the Marui, if you beam a laser beam of bullets downrange and they all go in the same exact spot almost, you get less spread and you have less likely to catch those better. But it is easier to control, and there is benefits to it. I think you got to think too with the damage fall off. If you make it gradual like it was, even if you pull back from let's say 10, 15 meters down to 10 meters, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to stop one hit killing right at 10 meters. I don't know what the exact damage numbers are, but they could find that balance to where the damage fall off goes gradually. And like you said, even when if you're catching a headshot on someone just outside that range and it's doing like 98 damage, and all you have to do is clip them, with any other bullet, even in the toe, that they're gonna die. That's still like that's not bad at all. That's everybody's gonna get used to just like spraying, hitting the head, and then pulling down,
Pulling down. Yep.
just clip a body shot. It's gonna be super easy because if you dink them and they get around the corner, like 7 out of 10 times, there's some sort of wall bang you're gonna be able to hit to finish them off as well.
Good point. Good point. All right. Anyways, I know we kind of deviated off of that map topic, and then I feel like Marui Vezin is just always an easy like topic, and they're gonna keep. I think they're gonna keep tweaking it. It's never gonna be perfect, but it's gonna get closer and closer to where I'm just waiting till the day where people are almost arguing like, oh, I'm a Marui main or I'm a Vezin main. Like I would. That's how I know when the balancing's been perfect. When people are literally like, I
Mm.
main one of these top two assault rifles, and I know people always try to bring in stuff like the all rail and the Cadillo, but people are like, let's worry about the Marui first. It's the same price, and I want to feel like I know some people want to be like I want to feel like it's more viable, but to a lot of people, I say people's points because like I'm all over that Discord for breachers, but I think the biggest topic is always well you don't want to like they have to still be distinct enough. You don't want to basically the Marui to be another Vezin either, because then now you're just talking about it's just the same gun but a reskin. You don't want that. You want them to be distinctly different, but still very viable in their different use cases. And I think
Yeah.
to your point, with a lot of the buffs that the Marui has, it's definitely in a way better spot than it used to be. Like I remember at the beginning of like preseason and when it first dropped, the game first dropped, Marui was just like it was just funky. It was the recoil was crazy, but the I will say the one thing I miss was the wall banging aspect because I think if anyone remembers, the wall banging from Marui was crazy. I think early seasons. I think it would wall bang certain walls that you couldn't do with the Vezin, and that one that really made it stand out because
Mm.
it wasn't just higher wall banging damage, but it was also wall banging different walls altogether, which I thought was like a crazy concept. And I think they should potentially rethink about trying that out again because that I don't know, like basically you have like a long range wall bang gun I don't know. I still think they should rethink that. Maybe like certain materials they could have a wall bang
Yeah.
again, but I don't know. It might make it too good because then you can do some crazy wall bangs. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they just need a little bit of dialing to get to where they need to be. Like you said, where the Vezin will be like the king of the close range fights. I
Yep.
mean, it's shy of something like a shotgun, and then the Marui will be the king of the longer range and a little bit better at wall banging. But even with wall banging, the Vezin's always going to have that benefit of the faster fire rate. So like with breachers being able to hear the hit scan through the wall as well, being able to just kind of put like a
Yeah,
beam
the
of bullets
Marui is
across.
pretty loud. It's pretty loud again. Sometimes I feel like when I did use it, it's kind of hard to hear the wall banging, so like I don't really quite
Mm,
know if it registered. Unfortunately.
mm.
All
Yeah,
right.
I feel that.
Anyways, we're done. We'll talk. We'll dump that topic because that's gonna come up 10,000 times in the future. I guarantee you.
We
But
continue.
there's been a really cool update recently, and it's the Armory update for cosmetics. I don't know if you've
Mm,
checked it out. I already bought. I just bought the Halloween skin. I'm loving the skins.
me
Are
too.
there
Yeah,
any
I got.
things you would like to see potentially on a cosmetic? Maybe certain things on like the skins, like your face, like we saw with the Halloween update. Or would you
Yeah.
like I don't know. What do you think? What would you look forward to potentially being implemented with now that cosmetics are in the game?
So there's a few things with the armory being opened up that I would like to see that I think is would be great. In either the armory or the gun range, you can't put a lot of the attachments you just can't put on, right? So I want to be able to, while I'm practicing and warming up with guns like in that area to make that more useful, be able to put like foregrips and suppressors and things like that because the grip changes the recoil of the weapon. And that's the stuff I want to practice on. Also, I think would be great in the army where they have those targets where you can kind of just shoot them around. Maybe have like infinite spawning nades and stuff, so you could kind of practice throwing nades in like a little bit more of an interesting, or maybe in the shooting range, something like that. I think would be cool. But yeah, as far as skins, I do think that the Halloween face mask update kind of hinted at the possibility of maybe having other optional cosmetic things like that, like being able to unlock face masks to customize throughout the gameplay. And then I don't know, it's weird because I really do enjoy the. I really think it's awesome how, like, for the seasons, like for Halloween, they've got the scary mask. That's just a great idea. Who knows if they do something for Christmas or for whatever, the New Year's, Easter, things like that. If they want to take the time to do that and have everybody have their own mask, then you can't have people being able to change it to whatever skins they have unlocked. But I don't know. It's a great update. I mean, I'm absolutely loving it. I'm with you. I got the Halloween bundle. I think the skins are absolutely goated. I've skin for pretty much
I
every
still
gun that
haven't
comes on
used the
this.
Canet one. I love my favorite skin I think out of the Halloween pack was
Oh
actually the
yeah.
Canet one. I think it looks really cool, but I gotta
Mhm.
I'll probably like hop on ship or something and just like blast people with it. Um
It is good on ship, and the trick or treat. It's so nice. Orange glow trick or treat with the scarecrow and the.
No way. All right. I gotta hop on, just blast people away with that Kinet. I will say like I might not be able to get any kills with it, but I'll look cool doing it, and that's all that really matters, right? Especially with these cosmetics. My only complaint, I'm not gonna lie, I don't mind the price. I get paid. I can pay these off, but I think if they can just tweak it a little bit lower, and I'd be fine. Because I will say I
Mhm.
saw someone complaining in the Breachers Discord about like I'm effectively buying the game again to buy one of these packs, and like it's hard, right? With these packs, I've heard like other games. I heard Valorant's like has some crazy costing packs, but I
Yeah,
don't know. I
well,
feel like you can drop it just a little bit, and then it's fine. I
I
guess I
think
don't know.
I actually no. See, here's the main difference between this and Valorant. And first of all, it's much cheaper than Valorant bundles are for sure. Absolutely, by far, not even close. Like it's so much
I don't play
cheaper.
Valorant, so
Uh,
I do not know. But one of my friends told me like, "Yo, this is nothing. Trust me, Valorant. Like,
mhm.
you'll pay like $90 for a pack." I'm like, "Are you kidding
Yeah.
me?"
There's
Like,
some skins. There's some skins alone that are just like $50 for just one skin, not even a bundle. Like it's pretty
yo,
insane.
wow.
But that aside, right? Like the fact that they're all cosmetic only. The other main benefit, the reason that I disagree with you again is you don't actually you can actually earn that money just by playing the game, right? They're giving you
That's
currency. So
true.
like if you play over time, you can save up, and then when one of the skins that you really like pops out, you can have enough saved up for it, or like you catch some skin on the featured market, that's when you might want to drop down a little extra money to catch it before it disappears. But all of the default skins that come that are like always available to be bought, just go play the game for 1,000 hours. You'll probably earn enough
I
credits.
think someone said they did the math and it comes out like if you maxed out your like player level, it comes out to about $30 worth of credits, um, versus like just playtime. If you just literally just max out your player
Mm.
level, that's enough to cover $30 worth of credits. And I guess to their point, you can just max out your level, and then you can buy your own like one of the packs. And you're right. I'm gonna be honest, like as much as I can complain about costs and all these things, it's all cosmetic. So it's like a shirt. Like
Exactly.
I can complain about a shirt costing a lot, but like you buy it or you don't, and you wear it or whatever. Like that's it. There's nothing more to it, and that's how
Mhm.
it is. And that was me for a while. I was like I'm not loving these. But then the Halloween pack came out. I'm like, whatever. I'm just dump some money on this. And I mean, I'm involved with Breachers like all the time, so I really don't mind supporting the devs there at
Oh
Triangle
yeah.
Triangle Factory. So I'm like, you know what? Like I love this game. This is another way to kind of put money back towards it, and I get some cool skins. Like I said, I get a really nice boomstick now with the kinetic. So I'm cool with that.
Oh, yeah, I'm 100% on that boat exactly. Like I immediately bought the biggest pack. I still have a bunch of credits just sitting in my account that I haven't even spent yet. I don't know what I'm gonna buy with them. Just waiting for the new skins to come out. But immediately love. I mean, at Triangle Factory, I'm such a huge fan of the game. I'm gonna support them in any way that I can, and just mutual beneficial there. I get some dope skins to style on people with in the game. They
You
get
gotta wait till
extra
the
money.
Vermal skin drops out. That's when you
Oh,
gotta drop
believe
some
me.
money.
Oh, believe me, I'm gonna definitely have plenty of money saved up for the VRML skin. I'll be playing enough by the time that comes out. I could have earned that one for free. I'm,
That's
I'm
true.
still,
That's true.
I'm still on the hunt for a team. I mean that the excessive setback slowed me down a little bit, but even
No.
before that happened, I was already talking to some other team members. I got some tryouts tonight actually that I'm gonna be hitting up.
Well,
Still,
best of
still
luck.
hunting for
Best of
that top
luck
eight
in
team.
hunting for a good team. And I mean, there's some good teams. So good luck to getting that top eight because those teams already, I'm kind of shocked. Like
Yeah.
it looks pretty good. That top eight master tiers that I've seen, like a lot of those are good. Like in the top five for sure. I think the last
Mhm.
eight, they're still kind of figuring out who's gonna fill in that top eight for master tier. But hey, it's still up for grabs all the way up until what January, February. I forgot how long the season is. So just because they're master tier now does not mean you don't have to defend your spot until the very end. Who knows? I don't know.
Very
Philibust might
true.
be coming for that crown. We'll see. We'll see
Oh,
what
for sure.
happens.
I mean, whatever team I'm on, you can bet I'm gonna be swinging a lot harder than I have ever before. So if you ever see me on the other side of a VRML cast, be ready for some stuff. You might want to flick that POV cam over to Phillabust and let
Oh
me
my god!
show you
No,
what I've been
you'll be
working
in
on the
the
last.
YouTube chat. You're like, hey, can you look at Philibust POV? I love when I see that someone's in the chat like, hey, look at this person's POV, and they're like, that's me. I'm like, what are you doing? You're in the game. Like, why are you in the chat? It's hilarious. But anyways,
Nice.
last topic. I think it's just kind of a very broad one. It's just you know, I'll say a lot of credit to Triangle Factory. They put out so much content considering they've just dropped the game back in, was it March, April, earlier this year, and I feel like they're consistently coming out with updates, every like month or two, basically patches for sure all the time to kind of fix things up. But what is something you think that you would like to see Triangle Factory bring into Breachers, potentially, just in general, I guess. New game mode, a specific type of map, certain tweaks. I don't know.
Hmm. Great question. So, I mean, obviously, the first thing that comes to mind, obviously, is the competitive ranked. But I mean, they already put the button in the game. It's great. I'm so stoked for that above anything else. Um, But let me see. Actually, yeah, there's quite a few things that I think will come with time. I am fully confident. Like just kind of tools to have at our disposal. I'll give one example. Right now is very limited in terms of what you can do as far as like team balancing, especially in pubs or if you
Oh,
have a
matchmaking stuff.
private
Yeah.
game. Yeah, like or even if we're in a private game, like let's say we have a match and somebody, let's say for example, internet goes out in like an entire state and you get people disconnecting on both teams and both teams have subs and subs join and they get in mid game onto the wrong team. There's no function right now in the game for them to be able to switch over to the right team or anything like that. So I would say that somebody actually put out a good idea in a pub. I was in a pub the other day and it was some, I don't even remember who it was. They were like, maybe right as you join the game, you get an option to switch teams and then you kind of get locked until the lobby again. But like right as you join, in case you join a team and it's imbalanced or something's wrong or you're on the wrong team, whatever, at that exact moment you could kind of switch before it locks you into a team. There's kind of that initial things like that, little tools like that that could be at our disposal. Like maybe even like a vote kicking system type for pubs. I don't know.
Ooh, that would be very fun. You can get the
I mean,
what the
there's the
cod that
problems.
the clutcher kick, right? Clutcher
Yeah,
kick.
it's
That
not,
would definitely
it's not
be funny to
gonna.
watch. I think my biggest thing is gonna be, I think custom match settings. Like that's a big one for me. Like if they can really mix
Exactly.
it up and allow some really cool interactions by customizing those settings. I think for
Mm,
me a really cool one, and that would make it more fun. I think say because it's the thing too right now when you hop in with a group of potentially 10, like nine other friends. You can't really customize things to kind of be a little bit more fun. I think it'd be really cool if we can change things up. I can have more fun with my friends, or when you're doing a practice, you can really tweak certain settings and make it harder. Maybe change out how
mm.
many bots are on the team, remove bots altogether, like that sort of stuff. We can really customize these matches if you wanted to. I think the coolest one would be if you can hear either like a hot mic death, so if someone dies, you can hear their mic when they're talking, or just having open comms. Like I remember playing Echo, like having open comms was definitely entertaining for like stuff like pubs, right? And I feel like having that same
Mm,
thing could be fun for like a custom match, right? Pubs obviously keep them very standard, but
mm.
I mean, like custom matches, I can hop in, I can like shoot down one of my friends and like talk some smack. I think that would be entertaining and really add to the more more replayability for me, right?
You guys got to get into a Discord for that type of stuff. I think it's too essential for an esport to be able to talk to your team without the other team being able to hear. So I think that's something you just jump. If you're going to do 10 mans,
Oh
you all want
man,
to be able to
this is what
talk
I'm saying.
smack to
These,
each
these
other.
are custom
Jump in a
settings. These are
Discord.
not. I'm not saying open up.
Just
I'm not saying to open up the comms. I would never. I would never agree to that. But I'm saying more like just cool
yeah,
customizations and custom matches would be great. Because right now,
yeah. That'd
the only
be
thing you could do in a
interesting.
custom match is choose a map, and that's it. And even then, if you choose a map, you can't reset it. I think it'd be cool if you can do stuff like
Hmm.
reset, like just a quality of life update for custom matches to honestly properly make them feel like a custom match. Otherwise, they're no different than effectively, like a pub match. Because I don't, when you do the matchmaking system and you get put into a random public lobby, they're basically the same as a custom match, except custom match you can make it private, and that's really about it for
Yeah, I
customizations,
mean,
right?
I have no doubt that I mean, the game right now is just not extremely feature rich, I guess you could call it, as far as that is concerned. And I have full confidence that Triangle Factory is going to have plenty of stuff coming down the pipeline. But I'm with you. Even things like in a custom match, being able to say disable a certain type of utility. You're like, all right, we're doing control point, but no grenades or something like that. Like these
That
type of
would be
things.
cool. That would allow some really cool, fun game modes. I don't know, but it'd be cool. It'd be really cool to see.
Yeah, there's a lot that they could do with that. And I think it's just, I think if you look at the game, I mean, the fact that it came out as polished as it was, and it went from one map in the alpha to full, or the betas, whatever, to full release having three maps. The game is so early on. I think we're gonna see a lot of that down the road. I think they just, I mean, they're working on it so much that I think is crucial to getting the core gameplay experience in
To be
place
really
before
good.
they
Yeah.
add all these extra features on that are gonna. I mean, it's a lot of programming, it's a lot of bugs that they're gonna have to fix, and like it'll make the later on process. They do some core changes that cause some bugs. They're gonna have to I don't know. I don't know a lot about game development. I'm not gonna dive too heavy into it, but I think we're gonna see a lot of that in the future, already coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like more than stuff we probably can't even imagine. They probably have ideas for things that they want to do.
I mean, if you have any ideas, hop in that Discord breachers and just drop in something in the suggestions. I've seen some really off the wall ideas in there. I support things that I think are really cool and fun in the game. But to your point earlier, I think we got to give credit in general to Triangle Factory. I played other games like
Mm.
Onward and even Contractors, and they feel fine. But those games have been out for a while now. When I hopped into Breachers, I remember this. I was just impressed. Like it felt like such a polished game, especially considering they
Yeah.
just had dropped. And
So I
it
mean
felt
this.
just as good, if not a little bit, honestly, a little more polished than some of these other games
Oh,
that
it's
are
so
VRFPSs, right?
not even so it's actually, for VR FPSs are notoriously known to be very non-polished, right? Like, but this game came out and it is so polished. It's more polished than most regular pancake games that come out. And not even considering VR games.
Pancake? Is that what you call them?
Yeah, pancake games. That's what they call them. So
um,
it actually very so impressive. I mean, I think that's why the game is so non-feature rich, right? Because the game was so polished, it was so clean and well put together that they released it, they're like, we got to get these maps together and get the game out there into the public so people can start playing it because it's already so fun. It's already so much better it's like literally industry leading, like VR FPS esport type games. It blows them away. I mean, like Vale had a lot of struggles that they're trying to do a very similar thing to what Breach is doing, and Breach is just crushing it. So I agree with the decision that they made to kind of, I guess you could say, rush the game out a little bit, where I disagree with games like CS2 getting rushed out because we already had CS:GO. I'm not going to get into that whole bag of worms, but I think that releasing it early was a great idea, and I think that we just kind of have to be patient and know that we're kind of in this early access phase of the game where we're just lucky to be able to all be playing it publicly and have these competitive leagues and stuff going on and have the support of the devs while they're still building it out instead of having to wait for it to get to the point where they know they're going to be polished enough to, for us to be like, man, where's the kick feature? Where's the team swap stuff? So I think, and as a community, most of us, I think, are realize that we're so grateful that we have such an amazing game to play that the parts that are missing right now, we're not like not too upset over. I know I personally am like totally can wait
I'm loving
for
the game as is. I think these are all
yeah,
like it'd be cool if we had this, but honestly, to your point, and honestly, I remember I hopped in. I was like, wow, this game just feels clean. Like there's nothing. Like that was the
yeah,
thing I had about Contractors. It's just I was playing it and it's fast paced, but it just didn't feel that clean. And then I hop into Breachers, and it's the same kind of fast paced, FPS setup, but it was just clean. Everything felt very well. Like I was holding the guns and everything just felt very natural.
mm,
And to your point, I think maybe the Triangle Factory might have just focused more on like let's put out just a really good foundation. And I think this is definitely a very solid foundation. I mean,
yeah,
we have several leagues out. This game, I think it blew up pretty much when it first came out. Like considering compared to like other VR games in general and other VR FPSs. Because I mean, the fact that they had Onward out already and the Contractors, that's a lot of competition to be going against, but I think Breachers definitely stands out on his own as another
yep,
top tier VR FPS.
yeah.
It's impressive.
I don't have the exact numbers, but compared to game, like contractors, Pavlov, and Onward, the numbers are already there. Breachers, I think, already takes the cake. More teams signed up and registered, and it's because, like you said, it's really easy to jump into and pick up. It's got this very easy entry level for anybody to jump in and enjoy and have fun with, and yet the mastery level is still very, very high. And I think they do a great job of that. A lot of other games don't. Like if we're going to compare it to other VR shooters, the main advantage it has over a game like Contractors, I would say, is the map design. And the map designs for the Breachers maps, even the few that we have so far, have been so good. And the way the gameplay revolves around those maps, they give the enforcers the tools that they need to attack. They give the revolters really solid defensive tools like door blockers and static field emitters and trip mines, and it's crazy defensive. And somehow they've still given the enforcers enough tools and designed the maps well enough and given them the stuff that they need to have it be balanced. Like active cloak is I think a great one that really helps out because normally when you're fighting against trip mines and static fields and they can post up anywhere inside the building, being able to go invisible really helps level the tables. Having flashbangs only allowed for the attackers, breaching foams only for the attackers, these types of things really help balance the gameplay experience so that you can have fun on every part of I don't know. It's so good. I'm so impressed. I can't give enough props to
Hmm.
Triangle Factory for what they're doing with the game. I'm so stoked. I can't wait for competitive to come out. I've already this last couple weeks, now that I'm trying to get back in shape and look for a team to push into the top 8 with. Been playing so much, but as soon as competitive comes out, I can't wait.
Just grinding competitive. Yo, I just looked at I think VRML Onward and VRML Breachers standings, and it looks like there's about 50, 60 active Onward teams, but looking at Breachers, it's about the same amount, if not a little bit more, like 60, 70, maybe even to the 80s. So I'm just saying impressive that Breachers, to your point, just came out late, and they came out swinging, because I feel like they're doing just as good as some of these other first-person shooters, if not better. The fact
Yeah.
that I think just in competitive alone, we have just as much people, if not more than Onward, is impressive. Granted, I'm sure some of those Onward teams might have transitioned onto the Breachers, but I think there's a reason why. It feels like a very polished game, and I know people talk about things like active reload and all these other different features. But I think the point of Breachers is it's just, I think, a shooter first and really nothing more than that. It's not meant to be like a simulation or simulator sort of setup, and I think that's a better thing,
Exactly.
right? When I'm playing
Exactly.
like games like COD or like Rainbow Six, I'm not on there to play simulations. I'm there to play games and have a lot of fun. And I think Breachers does a really good job at just kind of tuning in and making sure that you have that fun. It's competitive, yeah. It can be kind of hardcore when you're going against some of these hard
Mhm.
players, and some of the matchmaking is definitely harder because it's not skill based. But when you're going head to head, it's fun. I think it's just fun at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think they did such a great job because I mean, if you want that realistic sort of active reloading military simulator type games, there's already plenty of options for that in the market. Into the Radius, Ghost of Tabor, Contractors, Pavlov, Onward, all of these games already kind of have that stuff. And I think what Breachers is trying to do, or what Triangle Factory is trying to do with Breachers, is take away all of the distractions from the things that could get in between the entry level person, like between just any old player like me, you, everybody, John B, jumping into the game, and that competitive esports thing, like the aiming, the shooting, the movement, the actually playing of the game, as opposed to fumbling with, oh, where does this gun's magazine go, and how do I cock the bolt here, and does this one have a mag release button, and having to figure all that stuff out. Just take that kind of away and simplify most of that stuff so that we can get into, all right, where are we throwing the flashbangs? Where are we going in? Where are we pushing? How are we faking them out over here, playing over here? Focus on the actual gameplay and the esports. And that's what the esports is all about. Because, like we play these pancake games, it's kind of cool to watch them do all these active combat reloads. But at the end of the day, that's not the gameplay. That all happens automatically. And I think with a lot of the VR shooters out there, besides Breachers, that stuff kind of gets in the way. You don't want to be spending too much time fumbling with active reload. You want to be spending your training time practicing aiming, shooting, swinging, throwing grenades, these types of things, not like figuring out how to reload your gun as quickly as possible. So I think it's got a good place in the market. It really is focused entirely on being an esport. And I think Breachers is the first, like I've been playing VR since the beginning, since the original Oculus CV1 came out, and I'm a huge advocate. And that's why I'm pushing Breachers as hard as I can, because maybe a bit of a biased opinion, but I think Breachers has what it takes to put VR shooters on the map. I mean, we've got a bunch of other shooters, and yeah, they have popularity. We talk about the numbers, but let's be honest, compared to regular pancake games, as we call them, the VR shooters are just not, like, it's a small niche category of the gaming market. And I feel like Breachers has what it takes to push that niche more into the mainstream and kind of like make more connections, and this can blow up. I think especially when competitive comes out and the word spreads about the easy access competitive experience that Breachers can bring in an esport for a VR shooter, that's unheard of. It's literally unheard of. I'm hoping that it will blow up. The Quest 3 just came out. These VR headsets standalone to work perfectly well with Breachers are making it very much more accessible to just about anybody. Some people don't even have gaming computers that can play this game. So the main thing you just need is the space to not punch a hole in your wall while you're playing or break your
Yeah, but I mean
TVs.
that's just VR in general. That comes with the landscape, and I think that's a good thing. To your point, that's what I think Triangle Factory really tuned in with Breachers is, yeah, you definitely know it's a VR game. You can do all these cool crouching things, a lot of weird leaning mechanics, all these things that you can't do with pancake gaming or flat gaming, whatever you want to call it, without doing too much of the harder, crazier like simulations. Like I think Onward and some of those other games, when you do the active reload, like it feels cooler. You're like, oh, I'm definitely in VR. I'm doing all these cool motions, but when I'm worried about, just I want to hop on and play some games. I don't want to worry about that. I don't want to go. I don't want to like mimic me shooting a real life gun. I just want to hop in and kind of shoot some people and have some fun, kind of like COD, right? I just hop on, play a couple rounds, call it a day. When I'm on COD, I'm not worried about like, oh, like I need these, this, and that to be very close to like these things that are basically simulations. I'm here to have fun. Um,
Yeah. God, you're not like, oh man, I need my active reload animations to be super crisp and realistic. Nah, I want to be able to diving jump through windows when I press the phone button while
Yeah,
playing
right.
COD.
Dolphin diving. I don't know anyone in real
Yeah.
life dolphin diving doing 360 no scopes. That's not a thing, but it's fun, right? It's
To
fun.
watch professional paintball, people dolphin dive into the snake all the time. Dolphin dive
Oh,
is
oh,
huge.
yeah,
You got to be
yeah.
able to dolphin dive. Oftentimes it's
I don't
massive. Even
know.
out on the
Professional
battlefield.
paintball's interesting to watch because they just literally stand there. I don't know. They just kind of sit there and shooting at the wall, and I'm like, okay, okay. I don't know. I can't watch it. I can't watch it honestly.
Not a
But
good
anyways,
spectator.
we're not here to talk about paintball. But anyways, that is
Uh,
all the
on that note,
topics.
though,
Oh,
wait. On that note, one last thing. That is another reason that I think Breachers has what it takes. Because, like you said, paintball not a very good spectator sport, right? And Breachers already has a lot of tools necessary, and they're still being developed, but already like being able to put on a show, like not just being able to play the game and have it be good, but being able to let people experience that as a spectator and see it from the outside in is such an important part to having any successful esport. I think I'm telling you, they're ticking a lot of the boxes already, and the game is so early in its development that I have the highest of hopes I've ever had for a VR game with that I have with Breachers. I'm very excited for the future. I'll wrap it up with that.
I know.
Steph's
Me
kiss.
too. I'm definitely excited to see what Triangle Factory has in on the roadmap in the future for Breachers, but that will be it. We'll talk about those topics some other time. This is episode X, I don't even know. we're, we're figuring out the format. But anyways, if y'all wanted to see any specific topics or check anything out, please let us know in some of the comments. Hit us up there's on the Discord, the VRML Breachers Discord. Let us know anywhere. We'll definitely we're open to feedback. This is still a new format. We're figuring things out. And we'll see how we kind of progress with this. But anyways, we will see y'all around. We'll see y'all in the next cast or Breachcast. We're insert whatever
Podcast.
name podcast. But have a good day, y'all.
Stay frosty.